strengthened role of family, school and community. One more Chinese national recovers from COVID-19. Hello and good afternoon. I'm Priya. Welcome to Updates at Noon. The role of the family, school and community should continue to be strengthened by instilling noble values and fostering a national culture in pursuit of making Malaysia a developed nation. This, according to Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, is in line with Islam as the way of life, adding that every move, act and action is subjected to religious values. The Premier said the government, while determined to make Malaysia a developed nation, is aware of doubts on the country's future direction.
Ada yang risau apabila maju, ia bermakna kita hilang keinsafan dan meminggirkan nilai dan seruan Islam. Tetapi jelas kemajuan dan kemakmuran yang kita capai itu saling berkait, dan ketika kita meraihkan kepelbagaian bangsa dan agama di dalam negara, syiar Islam berkembang pesat dan turut menjadi pemangkin kepada kemajuan yang tercapai.
Tun Dr. Mahathir said the country also needed people who are matured, knowledgeable, hardworking and place importance on unity, and called for them to together continue to build a more prosperous country and make Malaysia more competitive, clean and with integrity. The Prime Minister said this when officiating the 63rd National Level Quran Recital and Memorization Competition at the Sabah International Convention Centre SICC last night. All cruise ships that depart or transit from any ports in China will not be allowed to enter Malaysia for the time being. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail said the move was a temporary measure to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 infection following a case involving an American woman who tested positive for the cluster infection on Saturday. The government, Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Azizah said, was aware that the woman, aged 83, was one of the passengers on the cruise ship MS Westerdam that berthed in Cambodia on 13th February before arriving by plane in Malaysia the next day. She said following the detection of one positive case of COVID-19 among the MS Westerdam cruise passengers, close contact tracing activities were immediately carried out.
Seterusnya, bagi penumpang kapal persiaran Westerdam yang masih berada di Cambodia adalah tidak dibenarkan memasuki Malaysia, mengambil kira bahawa semua penumpang tersebut adalah kontak rapat dengan kes yang disahkan positif terdahulu.
MS Westerdam had 2,257 passengers and crew on board. The cruise ship anchored in Hong Kong a day before embarking on a 14-day journey on 1st February as an East Asia cruise. The cruise ship was then not allowed to land in some countries before receiving permission to anchor in Sihanoukville, Cambodia on 13th February following the coronavirus outbreak. Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Azizah also said that Malaysia Airlines Berhad has cancelled 3 out of the 4 flights chartered by the United States Embassy in Kuala Lumpur to fly back passengers of the Cambodia-docked cruise ship. The Deputy Prime Minister said the decision was made after the American woman who boarded the first of the 4 chartered flights displayed COVID-19 symptoms and subsequently tested positive for the coronavirus after she arrived in Malaysia. The woman, together with her husband, aged 83 and 85 respectively, along with 143 passengers, arrived at the Kuala Lumpur International Airport via flight MH8763 at 7 p.m. on 14th February from Cambodia. However, tests on her husband were found to be negative for the virus.
Pihak KKM telah memaklumkan kepada MAS berkenaan kes positif hasil daripada ujian yang dijalankan. Sehubungan dengan itu, penumpang-penumpang lain pesawat dianggap kontak rapat, close contact. Berdasarkan kepada keputusan tersebut, MAS telah membatalkan bagi penerbangan sewa khas yang lain.
Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Azizah said 137 people who boarded the same flight with the patient were allowed to proceed with flights to their respective destinations after not displaying any symptoms related to COVID-19. Meanwhile, Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah said another patient, who is the 15th case involving a Chinese national woman admitted for treatment at Permai Hospital in Johor Bahru, had fully recovered and was allowed to return home on Saturday, bringing the total of those who have recovered from the virus to 8 people. The Deputy Prime Minister said all of them underwent repeat screening tests for COVID-19, and on both occasions their test results were negative. This means that the number of COVID-19 cases still receiving treatment at the ward is 14 people. Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah said, adding that no new cases of the cluster were reported as of yesterday. The number of COVID-19 cases reported in Malaysia to date remains at 22. In a related development, Health Ministry Director General Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah said the remaining 6 foreigners who boarded the same Malaysia Airlines chartered flight last week have been given a clean bill of health. 4 of the 6 are Americans, while 2 are Dutch nationals. Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham in a statement said the 6 were subjected to COVID-19 detection tests on 16th February. He said test results from the Institute for Medical Research IMR showed that they did not have the COVID-19 infection. He added that they are currently in good health and the related embassies have been informed accordingly of these results. Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham also said that the 6 foreigners are allowed to continue with their respective outbound flights to their next destination. And on a related note, quick action by the Communications and Multimedia Ministry in collaboration with the Royal Malaysian Police has succeeded in reducing the spread of fake news related to COVID-19. Communications and Multimedia Deputy Minister Dato' Edin Shazli Shith said to date at least 12 individuals have been charged for the offence nationwide.
Kita lihat selepas beberapa amaran diberikan, masih ada pihak yang menganggap itu sebagai satu amaran yang tak memberikan apa-apa kesan. Jadi bila selepas seramai 12 orang didakwa, barulah mereka sedar akan kesan dan akibat daripada perbuatan yang tidak bertanggungjawab ini. Tapi banyak IP yang dibuka sebab kebanyakan kes ini didakwa di bawah kanun kesaksian.
Speaking to reporters after visiting the Pasar Binjai Rendah in Marang in conjunction with the Info on Wheels or IOW program, Dato' Edin said currently the number of fake news has significantly reduced, with everyone being cautious, describing it as a positive sign. He added that cases of fake news dissemination are being investigated under Section 505, subsection B of the Penal Code and Section 233 of the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998. The ASEAN-China Special Foreign Ministers meeting in Laos, to be held on 20th February, is to show ASEAN solidarity with China in addressing the COVID-19 disease. Foreign Minister Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah said the meeting would discuss efforts on addressing COVID-19 as well as strengthening cooperation between ASEAN and China in dealing with COVID-19 infection.
Kita dalam ASEAN memang kita mempunyai keyakinan bahawa China boleh dan mampu mengatasinya, dan mesyuarat ini adalah untuk kita bertukar-tukar nota pengalaman negara-negara ASEAN dan juga mendengar taklimat yang terbaru daripada Menteri Luar China.
Datuk Saifuddin said this to reporters when met at the Balok Fishermen Integration Program in Kuantan, Pahang. On efforts to bring back the remaining Malaysian citizens in Hubei and Wuhan, he said the National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA, is working to bring back about 30 Malaysian citizens still in the Republic. He said the Malaysian Embassy and consulate offices in China, Hong Kong and Taiwan would continue to operate as usual to help look into the well-being of Malaysians there, as only certain Malaysian staff would be brought home with their spouses and children. Still to come, Malaysia to sign agreement with Vietnam to curb fishermen encroachment. Stay with us. Recipients of the Laman Haris houses, comprising settlers from the Stage 11 and 111 of the Green Revolution scheme, are urged not to sell the units for quick profits. Economic Affairs Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Azmin Ali said the prices of the houses, which were given for free to 987 settlers, is expected to go up further after more infrastructure in the area were completed by the developer Eco World Development Group Berhad. The 880 hectares housing land will be equipped with numerous facilities, including a primary school, hall, houses of worship, mosque and recreational area.
Tapi kita nasihatkan jangan, sebab kalau you jual pada harga pasaran 500,000 pun, you won't get another unit at that price with that facilities di mana-mana pun. Even kemudahan yang ada sekarang tidak boleh didapati di bandaraya besar seperti Kuala Lumpur dan sebagainya pada harga 500,000. Jadi saya nasihat kekalkan pemilikan rumah ini bagi setiap keluarga kerana harga ini akan terus naik.
The minister was met at the handing over of the keys to the Laman Haris houses to the settlers in Kuala Selangor, Selangor. The settlers received the houses and were also given 180,000 ringgit each as compensation for their land, which was developed for a housing project. Datuk Sri Muhammad Azmin said the ceremony was symbolic of the success of the state government in solving the issue of the housing project, which had been abandoned for about 20 years. A total of 70 billion ringgit of inheritance properties have not been claimed in this country, mostly by the Muslims due to lack of awareness and understanding about Islamic inheritance. Therefore, Muslims need to be introduced and educated with the practice of hibah or bequeath their property in order to avoid disputes arising after their death. Chief Executive Officer of Wasiah Shop Berhad, Arifin Sabirin, said there is a need for immediate comprehensive education programs to be carried out in the country to increase awareness among Muslims on the importance of managing the division of property.
Sedangkan ramai umat Islam kata kita ada ilmu faraid. Kan, kita ada hukum faraid, tapi kenapa juga masih berlaku masalah harta pusaka dia? Dia sebenarnya melibatkan proses education, proses pendidikan. Sebab itulah tanpa jemu semenjak 2005, the first 3 years of our operation, 2005 sampai 2008 tu is very tough untuk kita. Sebab kita mengeluarkan banyak modal nak educate masyarakat, tapi masyarakat dengar, dia faham, tapi dia tak ambil apa-apa tindakan.
Wasiah Shop Berhad is one of the leading consultants in planning and management of Muslim inherited property and has been handling over 60,000 related cases since its establishment in 2004. Malaysia plans to enter into an agreement with the Vietnamese government to overcome encroachment of deep-sea fishermen from the Republic into the country's territorial waters. Foreign Minister Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah said such an agreement had been signed between Malaysia and Indonesia and that a similar agreement could also be signed with Vietnam as a follow-up to the letter of intent signed in August last year as an agreement to resolve the problem. Datuk Saifuddin said Malaysia views the encroachment of foreign fishing boats into its waters seriously, as there has been an increase in the number of encroachment by Vietnamese fishing vessels into Malaysian waters in the east coast. He added that 141 Vietnamese fishermen were detained last year for encroaching into Malaysia's exclusive economic zone.
Dan saya telah bawa perkara ini kepada Menteri Luar Vietnam. Dan pada bulan Ogos tahun lalu sudah ada satu surat niat, letter of intent, untuk kita mencari jalan menyelesaikan soal ini. Sebenarnya kita meminta pihak Vietnam mengambil tindakan sebab kita tak nak, memang sekarang ni kita tahan, ada yang didakwa dan sebagainya, tapi itu tak menyelesaikan masalah.
Speaking to reporters when met at the Balut Fishermen Integration Program in Kuantan, Pahang, Datuk Saifuddin said Vietnam had given a positive response to the matter as the Republic was aware of the problem. Pulau Pinang will not have a water rationing exercise even during the dry season. This is because the Mengkuang Dam will continue to serve as a strategic dam to ensure that water supply in the state will not be affected by drought. Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng said the Mengkuang Dam expansion project was to serve as a strategic state dam to ensure that water supply to all investors and residents of the state would not be affected. Unlike Air Itam Dam or Teluk Bahang Dam, where the water stored is used daily, the Mengkuang Dam's function is to store water during the rainy season for use during the dry season.
Kawasan ini saya harap dapat terus kekal sebagai satu kawasan tadahan air yang telah diwatakan supaya dapat memenuhi segala keperluan air untuk negeri Pulau Pinang sekiranya sumber-sumber lain tidak dapat memainkan peranan mereka. So ini adalah untuk reserve strategik dan ini pun akan berikan keyakinan kepada semua pihak bahawa sememangnya air masih mencukupi.
Lim was met after his visit to the Mengkuang Dam in Bukit Mertajam. Currently, water at the Mengkuang Dam had reached 72% capacity. Road accident kills 14, including children, in Kinshasa. That and more coming up in our foreign segment. But first, buses carrying around 300 American passengers arrived at Tokyo's Haneda Airport early on Monday after being evacuated from a coronavirus-hit cruise ship off the coast of Japan. 2 U.S. government-chartered planes were scheduled to depart the airport today to take the American nationals who were quarantined for 2 weeks on the Diamond Princess back to the United States. The U.S. Embassy said all passengers would be quarantined for 14 days upon their return to the United States. 70 new coronavirus cases were confirmed on board the cruiser, bringing the total on the ship to 355, by far the largest cluster of cases outside of China. Now, the ship has been held in the port of Yokohama since 3rd February, with 3,700 passengers and crew on board. Those with the disease have been taken to hospitals in Japan, and no one from the ship has died. Dr. Anthony Fauci, director of the U.S. National Institute on Allergy and Infectious Diseases, said more than 40 infected Americans from the cruise will stay in Japan for treatment. At least 14 people were killed and 30 others wounded in a road accident in Kinshasa on Sunday. The accident took place on a busy crossroad in the Congolese capital when a truck carrying heavy construction materials rammed into several cars and people. Several vehicles, including small public buses, were crushed by the truck and the heavy rocks that fell out of the vehicle when it tipped over the edge of the road. A witness at scene said he thought the truck might have lost control because of faulty brakes. According to a local hospital morgue worker, young children were among the dead. Hospital officials said the death toll could rise. Now, the cause of the accident was not immediately known. The accident happened at a crossroad linking 3 Kinshasa districts, Lemba, Ngaba and Mont Ngafula. Cars got swept away by flood waters in the Welsh town of Hay-on-Wye on Sunday after nearby River Wey broke its banks as the second storm in a week to hit Britain. Videos uploaded to social media show parked cars being dislodged by river waters passing by submerged houses. English and Welsh environment agencies said warnings of severe flooding, which posed a danger to life, were in place in 4 locations for the River Tame on the Welsh borders and for the River Taff and River Neath in South Wales. Another 240 flood warnings were in place across England, 17 in Wales and 20 in Scotland on Sunday afternoon. Storm Dennis has hit Britain barely a week after Storm Ciara disrupted transport, flooded homes in northern England and left thousands without electricity. Celebratory salvo was fired and Syrian flags were waved in Aleppo on Sunday as residents celebrated Syrian government regaining control of the city. Syrian government forces made significant advances on Sunday in the country's northwestern Aleppo province, seizing most of the rebel-held region a day before a new round of talks between Turkey and Russia on the escalation in the area. The advances come after Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's forces drove insurgents from the key M5 highway linking Aleppo to Damascus and reopened the fastest route between Syria's 2 biggest cities for the first time in years, in a major strategic accomplishment for Assad. The Syrian government's recent advances in the northwestern region of the country have upset a fragile cooperation between Ankara and Moscow, which back opposing factions in the conflict but have collaborated towards a political solution to the nearly 9-year war. On Sunday, Russian warplanes mounted heavy airstrikes in the Aleppo province, bombing towns including Anadan, which was later seized by Syrian forces supported by Iranian-backed militias. Bundesliga. Gael Monfils claims his second Rotterdam title after defeating Canadian teenager Felix Auger-Aliassime 6-2, 6-4 to lift his second ATP Tour title in as many weeks. Last week, the Frenchman claimed a record-tying third Montpellier title. Monfils has proven almost unstoppable this month, winning 9 straight matches to claim 2 ATP Tour titles in a season for the first time. The 33-year-old Frenchman, who came into the tournament on the back of a record-equaling third triumph in Montpellier the previous Sunday, converted 4 out of 11 breakpoints as he denied his 19-year-old opponent a maiden ATP title. It was a 10th career title for world number 9 Monfils, who improved his win-loss record in the tournament to 14-1, with his only defeat coming to Slovakia's Martin Klizan in the final 4 years ago. It was a disappointing day for Auger-Aliassime, who had made history by becoming the youngest finalist in the event, dropping only 1 set en route to the title clash. He made 12 unforced forehand errors as Monfils broke early to race to a 4-2 lead before easing through the opening set. Monfils became a minor blip when he was broken while ahead 5-2 in the second, but Auger-Aliassime was unable to stage a late comeback and force a decider as the Frenchman held firm to seal the contest on his 5th championship point. Meanwhile, Kiki Bertens beat Elena Rybakina 6-1, 6-3 in straight sets to retain her St. Petersburg Ladies Trophy title. The world number 8 from the Netherlands converted 4 out of 8 breakpoints and saved all 5 on her serve to seal a 10th WTA singles title in 74 minutes. This is the first title of 2020 for the Dutch player, who's 8th in the world rankings. Bertens improved her head-to-head record over the Russian-born Rybakina to 2-love, having beaten the world number 25 in the Rosmalen Grass Court Tournament semi-finals last year. After easing through the opening set by winning 6 straight games, Bertens had to stave off a spirited Rybakina early in the second, saving 4 breakpoints in the first game. She broke for a decisive 3-1 lead and dropped only 2 more games to clinch victory in style. The Dutchwoman was scheduled to take on 36-year-old former world number 1 Kim Clijsters in the opening round of the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships on Monday, but pulled out of the tournament after reaching the final in St. Petersburg. Clijsters, making a return to professional tennis for the first time in 7 years, will play Australian Open runner-up Garbine Muguruza instead. Bayern Munich scored 3 goals in a devastating opening 12 minutes as they thumped Cologne 4-1 away on Sunday to go back to the top of the Bundesliga. Robert Lewandowski maintained his average of over a goal a game this season as Porto striker Moussa Marega left the pitch in protest of being subject to racist insults during his side's 2-1 win away to Vitória Guimarães in Portugal's Primeira Liga on Sunday. Now, the Mali forward, 28, scored what proved to be the winning goal in the 60th minute and celebrated the goal by pointing to his kin in response to a section of the home fans who had targeted him throughout the match. Marega was shown a yellow card for the reaction, and after the abuse continued, he tried to leave the pitch, pointing his thumbs down to the crowd, but was restrained by his teammates for a number of minutes. Porto coach Sergio Conceição was eventually forced to substitute Marega in the 72nd minute. Portuguese newspaper A Bola reported that no Porto player spoke to the media after the game in solidarity with Marega. Vitória coach Ivo Vera said he did not want to comment on the incident, as he was not certain what had happened. Porto are second in the Portuguese top flight, trailing leaders Benfica by a point after 21 games. Elsewhere, Elfyn Evans opened his account with Toyota by taking a dominant win in Rally Sweden on Sunday to lead the World Championship for the first time. Now, the Welshman, who led from the opening stage of a winter event shortened due to a lack of snow and unusually mild conditions, beat reigning world champion Ott Tanak by 12.7 seconds. The victory was the second of Ivan's WRC career, while second place provided a first podium for Tanak since the Estonian switched from Toyota to Hyundai at the end of last year. Young Finn Kel Rovanperä took third place for Toyota, ahead of 6 times world champion teammate Sebastian Ogier, after winning the final power stage to collect 5 bonus points. After 2 races of the 13-round championship, Evans and Hyundai's Thierry Neuville are tied on 42 points, with Evans leading on a countback. Neuville, who claimed 4 bonus points from the power stage, was 6th in Sweden, while Evans finished 3rd in the Monte Carlo opener won by the Belgian. Toyota lead the manufacturer's standings with 73 points to Hyundai's 63. And that concludes this afternoon's Updates at Noon. In our top story today, strengthen role of family, school and community in pursuit of becoming a developed nation. Join us again at 7 this evening. I'm Mohana Priya. Stay tuned to TV2. Have a great day.